Hey guys, Mrs. Rainey here. I was going to just talk to you about how to create a cityscape in one point perspective. So, I've had a lot of questions about how we do this and what we need to do. And the main tools you need are a straight edge. It doesn't have to be a ruler. You can do this with anything that has a straight edge. You can use like a thicker piece of paper as a straight edge. You can use the side of your binder. You can use a protractor, a ruler, anything with a straight edge will do. So the first thing we do when we are creating a cityscape is we draw a horizon line. Now remember, a horizon line is where the sky meets the land, okay? And on this horizon line, we're going to put a vanishing point. You can put your vanishing point in the middle of the line. You can put it off to one side or the other. In fact, if you put it on one side, that adds it a lot of visual interest, and that's not a bad idea to do. So for the sake of this tutorial, though, I am just going to put my vanishing point kind of in the middle. And then after you draw your vanishing point, you want to get your road laid out. So I'm going to draw my road. My road looks kind of like an upside down triangle. And again, remember, all of my angled lines are going to recede or go backwards towards this one single vanishing point. Okay, so now we have both sides of the road, our horizon line, our vanishing point. We need to add a building. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to draw a rectangle. I'm going to make my rectangle cross over my horizon line. Okay. So my rectangle is going to go above and below the horizon line. It's going to be a true rectangle. Just a two-dimensional rectangle is what we're starting with. Now, to keep my mind straight, I am going to erase my horizon line because my building is not transparent, okay? This rectangle is going to be facing the viewer of the artwork, and it's going to be a solid building, not transparent. So now that I have my rectangle, I need to make the sides of my building. And in order to make the sides of my building, I need to make sure that they're angled towards the vanishing point. So in one point perspective, every single line goes towards that vanishing point. So I'm drawing very lightly, okay? And I am making this building, the bottom of my building is going to go back towards the vanishing point as well. Now, this looks like an unfinished cube, right? So I need to finish up my cube. My cube is really my building, but I need to finish it up. I'm going to finish it up with a vertical line that is a true vertical line. It's going to be parallel. All my vertical lines are parallel to each other and to the edge of the page. Okay? So now I have a building in one point perspective. So if you want to overlap your buildings or you want to put another building in front of this building, if you're in my Art 1 class, that is one of your requirements. It's to overlap two buildings on the same side of the street. So if I want to overlap my building, I'm going to come here, I'm going to draw another rectangle, and I'm also going to make this rectangle go above and below the horizon line. And because I feel like it's simpler to make it go above and below the horizon line, especially at this point, but I will draw one eventually for you guys that goes below the horizon line. And again, our buildings start off as just a true rectangle, okay? I'm going to go in, I'm going to erase the horizon line in this other building because my new building is in front of this building. But now I have to draw the side of this building, right? So hopefully we all remember when we're drawing the side, we're going to take our straight edge, we're going to line it up with our vanishing point and the corner of our building, and we are going to draw the side of our building. Now I'm going to stop the side of my building just short of the face of this building behind it because I want it to appear like there's a sidewalk or a space in between these buildings. You'll see in just a minute. So now I'm coming to do the base of my building, the side at the bottom of my building. I'm lining up my straight edge with my vanishing point, and I'm going to come back here and I'm going to stop it right in line with this. So now I'm going to come down here. I'm going to draw my vertical line that's going to finish this building or finish my cube, because that's really all we're drawing here is cubes. Okay. And then I'm going to come through and I'm going to erase this bottom part of the building that's behind me, just to make it look more realistic, to make the overlap look more realistic. Okay. So now we have two buildings on the side of the street. This building is in front of this building. And the reason we know that is because the building in front is larger and lower in the picture. Okay. The building that's behind it is smaller and farther away. Okay, so it's more towards the middle of the picture. If I wanted to draw a building even farther, I would draw it up here in this top section of my page. And that would indicate to the viewer the fact that it's overlapped twice and that it's smaller and farther away and higher up on the page would indicate that it's even farther away visually. Okay, so now then, if you're in my Art 1 class, one of your other requirements was to draw a building on the opposite side of the street. So I'm going to start, just like I did over here, with a rectangle, okay? And I'm going to make this rectangle taller, all right? Because I like to have some variety in my building sizes. And again, I'm starting with just a rectangle, because that's all we've got here for our lines and shapes, is just a rectangle is what we start with. Okay. All right. So now this building is really close to the vanishing point. So that means my angle for the side of this building is going to be very steep. And it might not seem right to make it that steep, but all lines that are angled in 1 point perspective are going to line up with the vanishing point. Okay. So at the bottom, this line is going to go back towards the vanishing point. And then I need to connect my two lines once again with a true vertical line. Okay. And I'm going to erase out my horizon line. And so now I have 3 buildings on my street. So if you're in my Art 1 class, your minimum requirement is 3 buildings with 2 buildings on one side of the street that are overlapping. But the next thing that you need to do for a minimum requirement for your cityscape is you need to add 1 window and 1 door on the side of the buildings. Okay? So I'm going to show you how to do that. If you're going to add a window on the side of your building, you know what? Let's start with a window or door on the front of your building. If you're putting a door on the front of your building, this building that is facing me, this front side that's facing me or facing the viewer of the work of art, it is going to get a door or a window that is a true rectangle or a true 2-dimensional shape. Okay? I'm going to go through here. I'm going to make this a double door. Okay? I'm going to give it some fancy doorknobs. Okay? And then I'm going to give it like this nice little archway above it. Okay? So everything we draw that's on this side of our buildings, this is going to look just like a true 2-dimensional shape, okay? So we can try to make it look fancy. In fact, the more creative you get with these, the more whimsical and fun they look when they're finished, all right? So do some fun stuff, okay? So any shapes that you draw on this on the part of the building that is facing the viewer is going to be a true shape. If I put a window up here, it's going to be a true square or a true rectangle. But once I turn the corner and start walking down the street, if I'm going to draw a door or a window on the side of my building, my vertical lines are always going to stay vertical, because all lines stay vertical in our 1 point perspective, right? And all horizontal lines are going to stay horizontal. But all of our orthogonal lines or our angled lines are going to go back towards the vanishing point. Okay? So that means that when I'm drawing this window, the line is going to go back towards the vanishing point. Now, these lines aren't going to be parallel. They're going to line up with my vanishing point, okay? So that means that you might have a window that is on your building that's below the horizon line, and the top and the bottom of that window, those lines go up towards the vanishing point. But then if you make a window above the horizon line, that line might go down. And here, I'm going to do a double window here. And one of my lines on this window is going to go up, and one of my lines is going to go down. And it's all because of their placement above and below the horizon line. All right? So you can see this upper window has one line, the top of it, that goes down towards the vanishing point, but the bottom of it goes up towards the vanishing point. So make sure that you're always paying attention to the angles and lining your ruler up with, or your straight edge up with your vanishing point when you're walking down the side of the street. Okay. Something else I'm noticing here is I feel like my street is too skinny. I feel like I need to make it a little wider. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to make that adjustment right now. So there we have it. Okay. And then I want to make my sidewalk. I'm going to make like an intersection here. Okay. So, and I'm just going to make a nice little like rounded over corner on my sidewalk. All right. And then I feel like this building's kind of skinny, so I'm going to make it, and like my door's a little off center. So I'm just going to go through and make this adjustment. If you see a mistake you're making, or you see something that could look better, don't be shy. Don't be afraid to erase it out or to make a correction, make an adjustment, and make it look better. I'm going to carry over this window and put like a nice big window up top here. And I'm going to keep it in line. I'm lining it up with the corner of this other window. And again, all my horizontal lines are going to be parallel to each other. They're going to be parallel to the horizon line. Okay. And all my vertical lines are going to be, again, parallel to each other and parallel to the edge of the page. Okay. When I'm on the side of my buildings, all of my angled lines are going to go back. The sides of my buildings are all going to go back towards the vanishing point. Okay, so this can be a cute little window here. And that is really how you have it. The more buildings you add, the more overlapping you can do. If you want to go in and put another building behind here or in the front here, you can do that. And just keep on building up until you get your cityscape the way you want it. And this was my kind of finished sketch from one of the ones I did for my classes today. All right. I hope you guys enjoy. If you have any questions, send me an email, and I can't wait to see how your work turns out. Bye-bye.